The work that is in this room is called Exploring a Void, and what we have here is more or less an excerpt from a much larger and ongoing body of work, and it simply deals with the most central theme that I address with my work, which is that of borders. So over the years, basically, my work has been about exploring the void that opens up in our differences. So being an artist that is constantly moving back and forth places, specifically between Africa and Europe, and I've been doing so for the past 10 to 15 years now. My work has become really about that movement back and forth and being in this border condition. What do I make of that, and how do I enter this space that opens up in between that somewhat functions or operates like a void. And this void that I'm talking about is goes beyond what is physical. It is also sometimes the invisible borders in our lives. It is also the borders between those who are considered, or to put it in a different way, the haves and the have-nots, and those who are marginalized, the otherized people, and all of that. So my work really sort of like tries to engage, these various aspects. In this body of work, I actually worked a lot with composites, so diptychs and triptychs. The work we're looking at here now, or the one behind, or the one I'm looking at, is called "And My Shadow Went Ahead of Me into the Future." And it is somewhat performative. The figures that are there basically represent for me the everyday person. The first image, we see the figure of a woman who is obviously pregnant. And in my culture, which is the Igbo culture, or in my language, we have a saying that loosely translates into tomorrow is pregnant and no one knows what it will give birth to. And so this expression is basically the premise of this work. This whole idea of no one knows where we are going into. With the way things are in the world today, no one knows what the future will bring. And so this work was really addressing that uncertainty, that unknown. But then we see that in the second image, there is the female figure that's pregnant again, but then this time around, another figure, which in the Nigerian context is usually those who sell, the petty traders, called hawkers, that sell things on the street and try to they go after cars and people really on the go. So for me, that figure first of all represents the those we could call the lumpen proletariats, the lower class everyday person. But also at the same time, he is an archetypal figure of those living permanently temporary lives, because hawkers are usually always in this state of temporality. They don't know, and they're always, in every city you go to, in every large city you go to, you find them. For example, in Cairo, in Lagos, in Johannesburg, you find hawkers, and they are often, always all the time, being chased away by the government. They don't want them there, Sometimes they round them up and throw them in prison because they don't want them to be selling things on the street. And then they come out again and get back to the street. So for me, on one hand, that figure represents, the everyday person. Like I said before, the lumpen proletariats. But on the other hand, really perfect symbol of those who live, in bracketed space, in bracketed lives, and permanently temporary lives. And I always use, these figures, or I try to reference them in my work a lot, because it's very, very important. At the end of the day, for me, everything goes round and comes back to where is the place of these people, the everyday person, in the way we are designing the world today. And for me, this is very key in the world that I make.